So the title of my talk is, what about today? What about today? That is so great, Barbara Shane. Barbara makes these titles of my talk. That is great. So last week, I asked you all to make a plan. And then I asked you to fulfill the plan. So what I really asked you was, in terms of balance, make a plan for your life. What is the plan for your life? And most of you said, the plan for my life is to love. I want to just love my life. I want to be in the joy of life, right? Yes? Yes. So I would like to see like two people. The rest of you are like, I never made that plan. So do it again. Do it today. So make a plan. What's the plan for your life? It's like so simple a question. What is the plan for my life? Scott Anderson, what is the plan for your life?
To give of myself.
To give of myself. Mother Teresa is sitting right with us. No, but I happen to know that is the plan of your life. But I also happen to know that your decision to give of myself brings you great joy, and that your life is filled with happiness and joy, yes?
Yep.
Because he travels all over the world, and he's always like doing these amazing things. So what is your plan? What is your plan? Okay, sometimes, now this is what Nora first sang. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. When's the last time you gave gratitude? Because if you remember, the first Sunday I said, gratitude is what's going to bring us peace of mind. So when's the last time you laid under the moon? And did you see the moon this week? That crescent moon was gorgeous. When's the last time you laid under the moon and just gave thanks for you breathing? Just gave thanks for being alive. Tapped into that being alive. You know, Friday night, I hope you are all going to be here Friday night. I expect this room to be packed with all the different faiths that are coming here. I've been talking to a lot of the spiritual direct leaders that are going to be coming here. The Hare Krishnas will be here, the Buddhists, the Hindus, the Muslims, the Jewish people, the Jewish faith, the Christians, a lot of New Thought. There's going to be so much under this roof that this roof doesn't have a chance of staying on. But what's been exciting to me is listening to, because they're all sending me blurbs of what their religion is all about, which they are going to all talk about on Friday night. It's an hour program. We asked you to be here by 7 because you learn a song in that first hour, and we'll take a break. And then we go live to the world at 8 p.m., and it's a full, gorgeous program. And then we end kind of like we just ended with a different song. But as I listen and I read their paragraphs, it's just, I sit there crying when I read what their faith is about. Because it's so easy when you look at them all, when they read them all, and I'm reading them, to see that we're all one people. And that whatever's going on that keeps us separate needs to stop. And it will only stop when each one of us stops it in our own minds. So sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. And then Dell sang, then I pray, don't take me soon, because I am here for a reason. So why are you here? In my book, The 5 Questions, which is just about to come out, the first question is, why am I here? Now, that goes for any place. I can be, why am I in this room right now? Why am I here at this point in my life? Why am I here in the United States? Why am I here in this marriage? Why am I here with these children? You know, it can be anything. But this is a bigger question that I'm asking right now. Why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I here on this planet? I'm not just here by accident. Something must want to come through me, as me, to be fulfilled. Why am I here? I'm not just here to take up space. Joe's here to tap dance his way into heaven, to teach tap dancing now. You know, you all have something that you are here to do. And then the next question is, does it bring you to a positive culmination of what you say your plan is? Why am I here? You know, Thomas Troward, who is one of the founders of this faith, will tell you, you're here to enjoy life. That's it. How many of us really spend our whole lives just saying, I am here to enjoy life. If this doesn't bring me joy, it's off the table. Who would like to live like that? What's stopping us? Thank you, Joe. He said us. right? So what's stopping us is a mind that has been programmed to believe that we have to do certain things. You know what is that thing? You have to die and pay taxes. You probably do have to do both of those things. But you know what? That's it. That's all you got to do. But you know what? I don't know why I'm going to talk about taxes, but you know what? No, we should pay taxes. And you know, that's one of the things I believe. Every person should pay their fair share of taxes because everyone on this planet should benefit from all the wealth. That's what I believe. I believe that when we spend our time trying to hold what is ours, we don't get it, that none of it is ours, and all of it is ours. And that brings me peace of mind. It brings me peace of mind to live from that perspective, because one of the things that throws you out of balance is finances. Money throws so many people out of balance. They're not sure how to get it. They're not sure how to spend it. They don't want to spend it. They don't want to let anybody else have it. They don't want to, whatever. There's so many ways to get out of balance when it comes to money. And yet the whole idea behind prosperity is getting that you are money. You are prosperity. Just live in it, as it, and watch what happens. So balance. So I pray, don't take me soon, because I'm here for a reason. Life is only enjoyed when the mind is in balance. When your mind is balanced, you can enjoy your life so fluidly, so easily, when your mind is imbalanced. So as I said, the title of my talk is What About Today? I think too many todays are being wasted. I think we have wasted way too many todays. What are you going to do today? What's today look like to you? And I don't mean wasted. I don't consider it a wasted day if I go home and lay under my oak tree for 5 hours. That is not a wasted day. And you can say it is, I don't care. And you shouldn't care what anybody else thinks is a waste of time. Is it for you? Does it work for you? What are you going to do to make sure you don't waste your todays? You only get one today ever. It just keeps repeating itself. Every single day is another day to somehow remember who you are, to find out why you're here, and to live from whatever that is. And it's just so simple. It really, really, truly is simple. All you ever have to do is ask the question, does this make me happy? If the answer is no, it doesn't belong on your table. Now, I'm not saying that you should all go home and get rid of everything that doesn't make you happy, because it may make the world a little chaotic for a moment. But I am saying it's time to start asking the question and balancing your mind, balancing your world, eradicating what doesn't work, and start focusing on and expanding what does work. And you know what you're going to have to do to start this process? You're actually going to have to identify what works in your life. And you're going to have to be willing to identify what doesn't work in your life. Because this room right now, let's just say we are 200 people. Let's just say that if 200 people really got this and started living their lives from a sense of I only live what makes me happy, I only live in the joy of life, I am balanced in my life, knowing that all that is in my life is part of what I have decided is my plan for joy. If 200 people were doing that, imagine the ripples that we would create. Everybody around you would sense it. Some of them would be really pissed off because they're not doing that. But that's okay. Eventually they'll come to, or they'll move away. But I always say I treat for your highest and furthest if you are not part of my joy. But I do treat for your highest and furthest. But this is a philosophy of life. This is a way to live life, balancing our minds in such a way that we make a difference in the world. Because as this week is all about International Peace Day, it really does have to start with every single person in every single seat here. So I have this quote by Jamie Barrett, and it's this: every day you should investigate where and to whom your energy is going. Every day you should investigate where and to whom your energy is going. Now, I got caught in this week. I was working on this talk earlier in the week, and I found this quote, and I was like, I love this. I should always be be really conscious of where am I putting my energy right now. And something happened around me with someone in my life, and there was this really angry energy going on right around me. And so, as a good religious scientist, I felt I should bring it up and bring up this quote, which you never want to do in the midst of it. It literally turns on you so quickly. And I decided to say, you know, I just found this quote. And it was a bunch of people, all of them so angry. And I said, you know, I found this quote. I'd like to read it to you. Every day you should investigate where and to whom your energy is going. And one of the persons in the group goes, I know exactly where my energy is going. I was like, okay. Well, I think this quote doesn't mean to just know where it's going, but to decide, is this where you want it to go? Yes! And I'm trying to get out of it, and people are getting more angry as I'm expressing what I really mean. I said, no, but here's the deal. You get to either give love or you get to give anger. Which will it be? Anger! Literally, I was like alone in this room. And they all agreed that the only way this was going to get resolved was through confrontation. They said, you don't get it, James. Confrontation is an amazing tool to getting things done. And I was like, oh, dear. I was like, okay. And then someone who knew me a long time ago said, and when did you get so gentle? At which point, I could feel my own anger coming up. And I was like, well, you know, I have studied for years. I am now a minister. And this person said, you're not my minister. Why are you reading quotes? And I'm like, now I'm getting more and more. And then I jokingly said, you know what? Maybe confrontation does work sometimes. And I left. I actually did. I said, you know what? Here's the deal. You all get to feel the way you feel. I guess it was Spirit Uncensored. You get to feel what you feel and say what you want to say, and I get to leave. And I'm just going to leave and go get my energy and put it in a different direction. Because I believe this quote. Every day you should investigate where and to whom your energy is going. And so I left. And the great part, and my husband was part of that group, although he wasn't as angry as the rest. So now figure that out. And when I came home, he went, you know, after you left, we started talking about it. He said, and when you left, we all went, you know, maybe he's right. Of course he is. And I said, so how did it turn out? He said, well, we did resolve it. He said, and we did get calmed down. He said, but it took you leaving. And I got it. I was like, I totally get it. I totally get it. I had to leave because what I represented at the time was the opposite opinion, and there was more confrontation. Sometimes that's what we have to do in our very own minds. And this is the real tool. Are you willing to, are you capable of, can you walk away from your own mind when it is in this horrible energy? Can you walk away from your own mind? Well, you can't ever escape your mind, but can you change it? Yes. Can you move locations? Can you go outside maybe? Take a walk? You know, that's why it's called Walk It Off? Yes. But what do you have to do? First, you actually have to identify it, be willing to identify it. So peace of mind, actually equals balance. Peace of mind is a balanced mind. If your mind is, if I asked you right now, how many of you would say your mind is peaceful 100% of the time? Okay? 90% of the time. Okay? There's a certain age range that just raised their hand, which I fall into. 80% of the time. 70% of the time. 50% of the time. I missed 60, I know. 50% of the time. Did anybody not raise if you haven't raised your hand, raise your hand. Okay, so you're actually all in good shape. You have some work. You're actually all in some really good shape. No, you're actually all in really good shape. So, I'm done. I want to read you something from Ernest Holmes. I don't usually read things from Ernest Holmes that are this long, so take a deep breath. He says this: a good mental balance is struck when the will and the emotions are rightly poised. That is, when the intellect first decides what the emotions are to respond to. A good mental balance is struck when the will and the emotions are rightly poised. That is, when the intellect first decides what the emotions are to respond to. Ultimately, he's saying, what's your plan? Because when you know your plan, if my plan is to be happy, my plan is to let my life unfold perfectly and be happy. If my plan is to be happy, I'm going to respond from that plan. I'm not just waiting to see who's going to make me angry, who's going to make me happy. I'm not waiting for any of that. I've decided. This is my plan. My plan is to enjoy my life. So I'm going to come from that no matter what, right? And then he goes on to say, after the intellect has made its decision, then the imagination is called into play and the game of living commences. So what he's saying here is, have you made a decision to have a plan? Have you then decided to live that plan? And are you following it? Because let's face it, it starts up here. Here's your beliefs. Actually, it starts up here. You are God. You are the creative energy of the universe, and you are always, always creating. And what your creator believes. And those beliefs cause you to think the way you think. And when you think the way you think, you feel the way you feel. And when you feel the way you feel, you decide to allow those feelings out, and now you have emotions. That's how this works. So when people say, oh, my feelings always take me over, no, they don't. Your feelings don't exist without your thoughts, and your thoughts don't exist without your beliefs, and your beliefs don't exist without you being the person that created it. That's how it works. So your job is to decide beforehand, how am I going to react in any given situation? I'm not saying we're all going to become automatrons, where we just walk around going, I'm fine, no matter what happens. No, but I know my life will always unfold perfectly, and that I've decided to be happy. So if this is showing up, what's here that's part of my happiness? Do you all get this? So Joseph Campbell said this: participate joyfully in the sorrows of the world. So it's International Peace Week. When you look at the world, it's easy to take the position the world is a mess, starting with our country. The world is a mess. Our country is the strongest country in the world, supposedly. We are the leaders of the world. And our country is divided like it has never been divided since probably the Civil War. It is just divided. And everyone, when they get into the political landscape of what's going on, are divided. But if you step back from it, you can merely stand in the truth and see what's going on, right? So participate fully in the sorrows of the world. Now, it's not good for us to turn our eyes away from all of this. You know, that idea of sticking your head in the sand and saying, it's all good, it's all God, it's all good, it's all God, it's all good. You're not doing anything. You're doing a mantra that may or may not be doing anything for you. It's important, and I love what Joseph Campbell says here. Pay attention to the world. Look at the world. See what's happening in the world, and then place your energy into it, provided that energy is the peaceful energy that you want to provide. He says, we cannot cure the world of sorrows, but we can choose to live in joy, regardless of it. So what I want to ask you this week, as we enter this beautiful week of peace, is to make sure you do have a plan for your life, that you have decided what your life is all about, and that you stick to the plan. Find your inner peace, and then decide to live from there. I have to tell you, nothing is worth you losing your peaceful mind. Nothing, no one, no event, nothing happening in the world is worth you losing the truth of who you are. You come from that position, you decide that, and like I said in that group, I could feel myself being pulled in. I had opinions. Can you imagine? I had opinions about what they were talking about, but I backed off and I left. which actually helped them figure some things out. And by the way, when I left, I recognized when I left, because when I left, I went out to my oak tree and sat under it. I left and I sat under the oak tree, and I almost could feel the oak tree saying, "Get away. Your energy is not so hot right now," because I was still carrying it, you know? So this whole idea of being willing to live in this world of whatever's going on, but stick to your plan. So Raymond Charles Barker, who was one of my greatest teachers, he said this. He said, "Decision is the most important function of the individual mind." Decision is the most important function of the individual mind. Nothing can begin until a decision is made. Nothing can begin until a decision is made. So what's it going to be? What decision are you going to make? How are you going to use your mind, your energy, place it into this amazing law that is taking everything you decide and expanding it? What do you want to expand? How do you want to live your life? How do you want, how do I want my third act to play out in my life? Because whatever that is, you can have it. We get accused of being the teaching that you tell everybody they can have what they want. I don't do that. I tell you how you can have what you want, because I've understood it. Ernest Holmes understood it. You can have the life you choose to live, but you have to decide to have it. And once you decide to have it, you have to be willing to then take one step after the other and live from that plan and see everything and everyone that comes into that periphery as part of your plan, not as an enemy, not as a problem, but as part of it. So make a plan. Plan for peace, plan to have a peaceful mind, and then move into your life from that. Because as Ernest Holmes says, and I love this, he says, after the intellect has made this decision, then the imagination is called into play and the game of living commences. I don't know about you, but my game of living, I feel like I was at a party last night and everybody was talking about, I was one of the youngest people at this party. And everyone was talking about retirement. And at one point, I just had to blurt it out. I went, well, for me, I feel like my life's just beginning. And I have no intention of ever retiring. What I have an intention of doing is fulfilling all the things I have always thought I would fulfill. And if I haven't fulfilled it yet, then it's mine to do. And there is a lot to do. So make the decision and do it. Namaste.